guys, what is up? My name is Carly Cakes and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been a long time since I filmed a video, but today I have a very new and exciting product to present to you, and it is this. Now this is from Walmart, but I saw a very similar product advertised on my Facebook page, and essentially it's a hairy beauty blender. And it's supposed to not suck up your foundation or whatever cream product you're using. So I was like, man, that would be like the miracle product, because it's gonna save you money on your foundation and also time. Is this on the right side of my face, and I'm gonna use the classic beauty blender on the left side of my face. All I've done today so far is moisturize with the Glam Glow Glow Starter. As you can see, I have quite a bit of a breakout going on the right side. That's why I wanted to use this beauty blender on this side, because apparently it's going to offer more coverage if it's not sucking up all the foundation, right? So this side, it's pretty broke out too, but not as bad as this. The Maybelline Superstay 24-hour wear, really good drugstore foundation. The coverage is really good. I prime with the Smashbox. This is their color correcting primer, because I have quite a bit of redness going on. So I figured that will help out with that. And by the way, if you haven't already noticed, I got my hair cut. And it's really short, but it's really cute. So if you haven't watched my other videos, I was doing a few hair videos showing you how to style damaged hair, but now I cut all of the damaged hair off and I'm gonna start over, and hopefully it won't get ruined again with chemicals. I'm gonna try to leave it alone. I kind of want to grow it out. I want to have long hair again. I used to have long hair in high school and it looked really good, so I think that's the route I'm gonna be going. So just gonna apply a little bit. This is going all over the face. Keep in mind, I'm not going to overindulge in primer because that just makes everything a little bit messy. Just gonna rub it together in my hands. And apply it to the face. Okay, so on the back of our hairy sponge, it says to use wet sponge and squeeze to remove excess water. Stipple product all over face until desired coverage is reached. Perfect for liquid foundations, concealers, and contouring. Oh, they also say you can use it dry. To dip blender into product, tap gently to remove excess product. Pat product onto face using small circular motions until desired coverage is reached. Perfect for use with powder bronzers, blush, and highlighters. Oh, and it also tells you, after each use, wash with blender, cleanser, or soap and warm water. Let air dry overnight. So that's a nice little tidbit of information that we already knew. Comparing the two, they're both dry. This one is considerably larger than the beauty blender, and this is obviously dirty, but ignore that. So it has like this white cast on it. This was advertised to have velvet hairs to prevent the sponge from soaking up the product, but I don't know, because this is not the exact sponge. This is the Oft brand. So I'm gonna go wet these both, because that's how I always apply my foundation, and I'll be right back. They're wet now. I've squeezed out the water. The beauty blender is closer in size now than it was before when it was dry. Squeezing them. Obviously, beauty blender is known for its softness, so this doesn't compare. I mean, it's quite soft, but not nearly as soft as the beauty blender, which is normal because every other sponge I've tried is not as soft as this, which is why I stick with the beauty blender. Now, I have tried Morphe sponge, and Morphe sponge is definitely comparable to the beauty blender, and I prefer it because it has this edge for baking, but we will see how this one performs. So we've moisturized, we have primed. Now it is time to test out the hairy sponge versus the normal beauty blender. I'm very nervous. I don't think this is gonna work, but it's worth a shot. Since everyone hopefully knows how a beauty blender performs, I'm going to start with the hairy sponge first on the right side of my face, like I said before. I'm gonna give the makeup a shake. If you're wondering what my shade is, I am 112 Natural Ivory. I'm going to squirt a bit on the sponge. I'm going to do one squirt only because that's another thing they advertised in the video on Facebook. They said 1 drop coverage. I know this is more than a drop, but it's 1 squirt. So we're gonna see how it works. So right away, I noticed that the makeup is kind of sitting on top. It's not really soaking in. So that's a good sign. However, the coverage is really there. I'm not sure if I'm just being lazy, but it feels like I had to work kind of hard to blend it. I did notice it makes a lot of noise. So it's pretty hard compared to a beauty blender. And that's with 1 squirt for half of my face. As you can see, most of the redness is concealed. Most of my acne is slightly covered. It's still noticeable, I would say, but not as bad as before, which is good because I don't want anybody to notice my pimples. Pretty embarrassing. So my skin feels pretty dry, which is good. Let's go in with the tried and the true beauty blender. It's got quite a few wear and tears on it, so don't judge me. We're gonna do the same thing, 1 squirt only, and we're gonna see how it performs. So this is the beauty blender side compared. I don't know, I just feel like there's more coverage on the beauty blender side, which is kind of ironic because this is supposed to give you more coverage. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some slight inconsistencies. You can see the beauty blender. I mean, I feel like it did soak up a lot, but this, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. It just looks like the hairs may have soaked up the product. Let me try it on my arm. It's not really coming off. I don't know. Should we do one more layer to give it a fair shot? I don't know, the beauty blender side just looks overall more blended and more natural to me. But let's see how it acts with one more layer. One more squirt. I feel like 2 layers on this side looks like 1 layer on this side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it takes way more work with this sponge and way more product with this sponge to make it look like the Beauty Blender side. And I think that might be just me being a snob. Don't get me wrong, this sponge definitely works, but it doesn't work the way I thought it would work. Like, it doesn't work as advertised. The video of the almost exact same sponge, I'm not gonna bash on the idea, just because I feel like this is the Equate brand, so no way is it gonna perform just the same as the name brand. I can't remember what the brand of the sponge on Facebook was called, but you can look it up. It was a velvet covered sponge, and it was advertised to give you full coverage with 1 drop. Not 1 squirt of foundation, 1 drop, which is a little far-fetched in my opinion. With all of my experience as a beauty guru, a makeup lover, it takes way more than 1 drop to get me full coverage, and that's with any sponge. Brushes are a little better, but I don't prefer brushes because I always feel like they look streaky on me. That might just be my technique, but I know a lot of people struggle with the same issue. So, in my opinion, this is a gimmick. I would just go ahead and buy a Beauty Blender or a Real Techniques one or the Morphe sponge, because they all perform better than this one. I just think this is a ripoff. But it was only like $4, so I'm not mad at it. But I don't know. I wouldn't reach for this again. Although I do like that it's flat to fit into certain areas around your eye. I feel like that's a plus, and I like the color. But overall, it's a gimmick, but I tried it for you so you don't have to go out and waste your time. My final thoughts are, this took way much more product, way much more work for the same results as 1 layer and less work. So it's up to you, whatever you prefer. More work, less work, more product, less product. I prefer the Beauty Blender. Case closed. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe and thumbs up and the bell notification for more. There's more content coming. Be patient. I know I'm lazy. I'm working a lot. So, I will see you in the next one, whenever that may be. One last look.